Have you ever stopped to think about how your diet can influence not only your health, but also your spiritual and material abundance? In Buddhist teachings, what we choose to consume goes beyond the physical, reflecting our intentions and energies. In this video, we'll explore 5 foods that you should consider leaving behind, making room for prosperity and well-being in your life. Get ready to discover signs that reveal how your food choices can transform your abundance journey. I'm Dory. On our channel, we explore Buddhist practices and rituals that help cultivate inner peace, compassion, and wisdom. Join us to learn and listen to profound teachings and discover how to apply Buddhist philosophy in your daily life. Subscribe to the channel and transform your spiritual journey. The first reflection I want to bring you is about the impact of food on our vital energy. In Buddhism, we believe that everything is interconnected. Just as the physical body is nourished by the food we choose, our mind and spirit are also affected by these choices. We often don't realize that what we eat can create a mental and emotional state that brings us closer to or further away from our true essence. Heavy, processed foods, for example, can make our minds cloudy and heavy, making clarity and meditation difficult. By eating fresh, natural foods such as fruit and vegetables, we are not only nourishing our bodies, but also raising our spiritual vibration. This connection between body and mind is fundamental to the development of mindfulness, which is one of the pillars of the Buddhist path. When we eat mindfully, we are also making a choice that reflects compassion for ourselves and the beings around us. The practice of giving thanks for food before meals, for example, is a way of recognizing the effort of everyone who was involved in producing that food. Each bite becomes a moment of gratitude, a practical meditation that connects us with the present. By eating more consciously, we begin to realize that abundance is not just a question of having more, but of valuing what we already have. This change in perspective is essential for making room for prosperity in our lives. The second point to consider is the importance of freeing ourselves from foods that not only harm our bodies, but also our minds. Foods that are high in sugar, for example, can cause a temporary state of euphoria, but soon after come mood swings and anxiety. In Buddhism, the practice of balance is very important. Just as meditation helps us find our center, a balanced diet provides us with emotional and mental stability. By eliminating these harmful foods, we are creating a space for clarity and mental serenity, which are essential for spiritual practice. Transform your relationship with food and discover how it can impact your vital energy. In the 21-day life-changing challenge with Buddhist practices and rituals, you'll learn how to nourish body and mind in a conscious way. Want to know how to take the next step on this journey? Check out the link in the first comment. In addition, choosing foods that are not sustainable or that cause suffering to other living beings can affect our spiritual energy. When we consume products that cause pain or exploitation, we are, in a way, feeding a cycle of negativity in our being. Compassion is one of the foundations of Buddhism, and choosing food that respects life and the environment is a way of practicing this compassion in a tangible way. Choosing a vegetarian or vegan diet, for example, is not just a dietary choice, but an affirmation of our commitment to harmony and peace. Finally, by becoming aware of what we put into our bodies, we are also opening ourselves up to new possibilities. Every conscious food choice is a step towards a fuller, more abundant life. Abundance is not just about material goods, but extends to our state of mind and our ability to love and connect with others. Therefore, by leaving behind food that doesn't serve us, we are actually creating a richer and more meaningful life. This is the true prosperity we seek on our spiritual journey. The first reflection we should have about food is its connection to our mind and heart. What we consume is not only fuel for the body, but also a manifestation of our intentions and emotions. When we eat consciously, we are sending a signal to the universe about what we want to attract into our lives. It is therefore essential to cultivate a harmonious relationship with food. choosing foods that nourish not only the body but also the spirit. Processed foods, for example, are often loaded with substances that not only affect our physical health, but also create a density in our energy. These products are often the result of practices that exploit nature, and by consuming them, we may be unconsciously supporting a cycle of consumption and waste that is not in line with Buddhist principles of compassion and respect for life. By leaving these foods behind, we make room for a purer diet that reflects our search for inner peace and balance. On the other hand, when we opt for fresh, local, and organic food, we are not only taking care of our bodies, but also contributing to the health of our planet. Choosing ingredients that respect nature is a way of practicing generosity, a central virtue in Buddhism. By consuming food that has been consciously grown, we are connecting with the earth and the communities that sustain it. This choice makes us feel part of something bigger, promoting an abundance that goes beyond the material. Another important issue is the practice of gratitude. When we eat, it is essential that we do so with a grateful heart. Giving thanks for the food we have at our disposal is an act that raises our vibration and connects us with the abundance of the universe. This practice helps us realize that true wealth is not just in what we have, but in how we relate to what we have. By consuming with gratitude, we transform each meal into a sacred ritual where we nourish ourselves physically, emotionally, and spiritually. In addition, the way we eat can also influence our mental state. Heavy and excessively sugary foods can provoke feelings of lethargy and discouragement. This is in line with the Buddhist concept of aversion. When we distance ourselves from what is healthy and let ourselves be carried away by momentary impulses. On the other hand, a balanced diet, rich in vegetables, whole grains, and fruit, can raise our energy and mental clarity, allowing us to live more fully and consciously. When reflecting on our food choices, we should also consider the energy we bring to meals. Eating in a state of haste or stress can turn eating into a negative experience. Buddhism teaches us the importance of presence and awareness in every act. Practicing mindful eating, where we sit, breathe, and enjoy each bite, connects us with the essence of life and promotes a sense of abundance that transcends the physical. Thus, by leaving behind food that doesn't serve us, we open up a space in our lives for true prosperity, which is that which enriches the spirit and connects us with the essence of compassion and love. Emotional attachments are like invisible chains that keep us bound to patterns that no longer serve us. On our spiritual journey, it is essential to recognize these ties and attachments that prevent us from moving forward. Often, we get so caught up in our own stories that we forget that letting go is one of the keys to inner freedom. By attaching ourselves to people, places, or even ideas, we create an expectation that generates suffering. The Buddha teaches us that desire and attachment are sources of pain. Therefore, reflecting on what really matters in our lives is essential. Practice detachment meditation. Find a quiet place, take a deep breath, and visualize the attachments you want to let go of. It could be a toxic relationship, a job that no longer brings you joy, or even an object that no longer has any value for you. As you exhale, feel yourself releasing these ties. It's a powerful exercise that, over time, will help you cultivate a lighter mind. Remember that detachment doesn't mean that you don't care, but rather that you are willing to let go of what no longer brings growth. Spiritual and material abundance is closely linked to our ability to let go. When we free up space in our lives, we allow new opportunities to enter. This doesn't just apply to material goods, but also to experiences and emotions. By letting go of past hurts, for example, we open our hearts to compassion and love. Learn to observe your thoughts and feelings without identifying with them. This practice teaches us to see the impermanence of everything around us, promoting acceptance and contentment. It's also important to remember that we cultivate abundance through generosity. When we give, whether with resources, time, or love, we create a cycle of exchange that enriches not only those who receive, but also those who give. The practice of generosity helps us to let go of the idea of scarcity. The Buddha teaches us that everything is interconnected. What we do to others is a reflection of ourselves. The practice of detachment is also reflected in our relationship with food. By eating consciously, not only in terms of what we eat, but also how we feel about it, we become more aware of the impact our choices have on our lives. How do you feel after a meal? Does the food bring you joy or just satiety? By observing these sensations, you begin to understand what really nourishes your body and soul. Now let's talk about the importance of the environment in which we live. The space we inhabit can influence our energy and well-being. A clean and harmonious environment promotes inner peace and mental clarity. Practice cleanliness and organization in your home and observe how it impacts your state of mind. Let go of objects that don't bring you joy or purpose. Create a space that reflects your essence and is a temple for your spiritual practice. Remember that transformation begins from within. By cultivating a detached mind and heart, you attract the abundance you desire into your life. Be open to change and allow yourself to grow. Each step on this journey is an invitation to self-exploration and the discovery of what really matters. The first thought we should have about food is that it is not limited to the act of eating. Each food we eat carries an energy and an intention. When we feed our bodies processed, heavy foods full of artificial substances, we are not only damaging our physical health, but also creating a dense atmosphere in our inner being. Buddhist philosophy teaches us that we should seek the middle path, avoiding extremes. This also applies to our diet. By choosing foods that are fresh, natural, and promote vitality, we nourish not only the body, but also the mind and spirit. This deep connection between what we consume and our spiritual energy is often overlooked in a society that values convenience over well-being. Therefore, when deciding to consider eliminating foods that don't serve our good, we should ask ourselves, does this food bring me peace and clarity, or does it make me heavy and confused? Secondly, practicing mindfulness while eating is fundamental. When we eat hurriedly, without paying attention to what we are doing, we disregard the sacredness of the act of nourishing ourselves. Buddhism teaches us to be present in every moment, and this includes mealtimes. By taking the time to appreciate each bite, we feel the texture, flavor, and energy of the food. This practice helps us develop a more conscious relationship with food and, consequently, with life. The simple act of giving thanks for the meal can transform the experience of eating into a spiritual practice. By recognizing the origin of food, from the earth that generated it to the hands that prepared it, we cultivate a deep respect for the interconnectedness of life. So, as we consider what we should leave behind in our eating, may we also remember the value of presence and gratitude at every meal. Abundance, both material and spiritual, is profoundly influenced by our food choices. By choosing foods that promote health and vitality, we are creating a space that allows prosperity to flow into our lives. Foods that are heavy and dense often reflect negative and stagnant emotions. If, for example, we constantly consume products that leave us tired and lacking in energy, how can we expect abundance to manifest in other areas of our lives? Detachment is also an essential principle here. By letting go of food that doesn't serve us, we are practicing renunciation, one of the pillars of the Buddhist path. This renunciation is not a painful sacrifice, but a release that allows us to embrace something greater: health, peace, and prosperity. Therefore, changing our diet is not just a matter of physical health, but a spiritual practice that connects us with our deepest intentions. By choosing what to eat wisely with mindfulness and gratitude, we open the door to a richer, more abundant, and meaningful life. It's a journey that begins on our plate, but extends to every aspect of our existence. May we then reflect on these choices and allow them to guide us towards a full and harmonious life. The first change we should consider in our diet concerns the excessive consumption of sugar. Sugar, in its various forms, not only affects our physical health, but can also create a mental state of agitation and addiction. In Buddhism, we seek mental clarity and inner peace. Sugar, by causing spikes in energy followed by sudden drops, can lead us into a cycle of anxiety and dissatisfaction. When we free ourselves from this addiction, we make room for a more serene mind and a deeper connection with ourselves and the world around us. Another food that deserves our attention is meat, especially processed meat. Buddhism teaches compassion for all living beings. By opting for a more vegetarian or vegan diet, we not only respect life, but also cultivate an energy of love and respect that is reflected in our daily interactions. The way we eat can be a reflection of our consciousness and intention. By choosing foods that do not cause suffering to other beings, we promote an environment of peace, both within ourselves and around us. Ultra-processed foods, full of preservatives and artificial additives, should also be left behind. Not only are these products harmful to health, but they are often created in exploitative and disrespectful environments. Buddhist philosophy invites us to reflect on our choices and their implications. Choosing fresh, natural food connects us with the earth and with simplicity. This connection helps us cultivate a clearer mind and a more open heart. In addition, we must consider the impact of coffee and other stimulating drinks. Although they may seem harmless, these products often create a dependency that takes us away from mindfulness. Buddhism values mindfulness and awareness of the present moment. Excessive caffeine consumption can lead us into a state of agitation, making it difficult to practice meditation and appreciate the here and now. By reducing or eliminating these drinks, we create space for a deeper spiritual practice and a more balanced life. Finally, it's important to reflect on the consumption of foods that promote negativity, such as products that are excessively salty or fried. These foods may seem comforting, but they often leave us feeling heavy and tired. Buddhism teaches us to seek out what is beneficial and healthy for our body and mind. By choosing foods that nourish our vitality and energize us, we are not only taking care of our bodies, but also cultivating a spirit of gratitude and abundance. Each of us has the ability to transform our relationship with food. By making conscious choices, we not only improve our physical health, but also create a space for abundance in all aspects of our lives. Buddhist wisdom guides us to live more intentionally, promoting harmony between body, mind, and spirit. May we all find our way to mindful eating, and may this journey lead us to a fuller and more meaningful life. The connection between food and our spiritual journey is profound and often overlooked. Each food we eat carries not only nutrients, but also energies and intentions. When we talk about leaving certain foods behind, it's not just a question of physical health, but of an inner transformation that can reverberate in all areas of our lives, including material and spiritual abundance. One of the first aspects to consider is the origin of the food. Processed and industrialized foods, which often contain additives and artificial substances, can create a disconnection with nature. In Buddhism, this connection is vital. By consuming food that is grown sustainably and respectfully, we honor the earth and the beings that depend on it. This practice not only nourishes the body, but also feeds our consciousness, aligning our choices with the harmony of the universe. Another essential point is the intention behind eating. When we eat hurriedly or distractedly, we lose the opportunity to be present with each bite. This lack of attention can generate a state of disharmony, which is reflected in our spiritual life. Practicing mindfulness during meals, savoring each meal and giving thanks for it, transforms the experience into a sacred act. This awareness allows us to realize how food affects not only our body, but also our mind and spirit. It's also important to note how certain foods can influence our emotions. Heavy foods, such as fried foods and excessive sugars, can create a feeling of lethargy and discouragement. These emotional states can take us away from our true essence and our ability to manifest abundance. On the other hand, Fresh, light, and natural foods, such as fruit and vegetables, can boost our energy and mental clarity. When our mind is clear and our body light, we are more likely to act with compassion and generosity, fundamental characteristics for attracting prosperity. Another aspect to consider is the practice of detachment. We often become attached to certain foods for emotional reasons, such as comfort or nostalgia. This attachment can limit our ability to experience new sources of nourishment, both physical and spiritual. Buddhism teaches us about impermanence and the importance of letting go of what no longer serves our growth. By letting go of foods that bind us to old patterns, we make room for new experiences and flavors that can nourish our being in unexpected ways. Finally, remember that each meal is an opportunity for renewal and connection. By leaving certain foods behind, you not only cleanse your body, but also make room for a more abundant and meaningful life. Nourish yourself with love, compassion, and awareness, and watch how this practice transforms your spiritual and material journey.